What is happening, Cigars Daily Nation? Today we are here in my house for a brand new humidor review, one that I intend to actually keep here at home. It's currently Sunday afternoon. Allison is cooking up some lunch for everybody here, and I've run into a bit of an issue with my personal humidor, sadly. Something that has become, well, sort of troublesome to me. And now I've got the tools to fix it. But let me just break this down and explain very briefly. If you've followed this channel for a while, then you know I do a lot of humidor reviews. I want to take you guys inside the different makers, especially of electric humidors. But myself, I haven't really had a good electric humidor at home. What I've had is this converted wine fridge behind me that is, it got a condenser motor, so I don't plug it in. I just put some lights inside of it and put some humidity inside. But also, this thing has become endless trouble for me to balance my humidity. And so the issue essentially is that the humidity, if I put humidification inside, goes way too high. And if I take it out, obviously I can't really keep it up. Problem that some guys have, but now I'm going to fix. So here it is. I want to take you guys inside a humidor review today, which I'm also going to follow on the channel with some content about, setting up and keeping a home humidor, especially if you are like me with a colossal size cigar obsession and you need a colossal size cigar collection. And so that's why today we're going to be reviewing the KingChii 475 liter thermoelectric tower humidor. This thing is supposed to hold 2,500 or some 2,000 or 2,500 cigars. So that's what I want to break into with you guys right now and take you through a full review. Just to let you know up front though, I'm going to ask you to comment what kind of humidor brands have you used? Do you trust them? Do you like them? Put your honest opinion down there. Also, after reviewing this, I'm going to be doing the seasoning and everything separately. Today, I'm going to take you through what I basically do in my other review videos. And then the follow-up videos will be, sort of, here's how I seasoned it. Here's how I'm setting it up. Here's what cigars are going in it. A big part of the purpose of this for me is to be able to do things that I can't do with this wine fridge. The wine fridge over there is fine for just holding a collection of rotational cigars that I'm regularly smoking through. Now, it holds a lot more cigars than I'm regularly smoking through at home. The truth is, I want to be able to age cigars and keep cigars for a much longer period of time with much more control. That's what I'm hoping to get out of this deal. So let me unbox it. We'll take a look inside. Make sure you subscribe, though, so that you can catch a hold of the upcoming videos on setting this thing up and dialing it in.
I'm not telling you. Keep going.
This thing doesn't work. I must have vented by letting something too heavy. The wheel on that side is busted. So at this point, most of my time investment in this KingChii humidor has come in just the unboxing. That easily took the longest amount of time because, quite frankly, the setup of the interior humidor has been basically instant. So here's what I experienced. And I sat down and read the manual. This is the first time I've seen this, that the seasoning instructions in the manual were only one step. It says, you want to turn the thing on, set the humidity, and leave it at that humidity for 24 hours before putting your cigars in it, just to humidify the shelves. And here's the big reason for that. When you set up a humidor, in order to season it, you want to get the shelves in a good spot so the shelves and interior have humidity in them so they don't suck the humidity out of your cigars. This unit here comes with a built-in humidifier that is going to be pumping humidity into the rest of the shelf and circulating the air for as long as it needs it. So in 24 hours, you're pretty much well set. Now, this thing did hold a full gallon of distilled water in the humidifier below, and even has a bit of a sort of a honeycombed insert that will soak up the water and allow that water to get a little bit more surface space than just the top of the water, so that it can circulate that humidity a little bit better. I really like a lot the way that humidification is set up in this. Very different than a lot of the desktop or smaller thermoelectric humidors, where it's basically just a dish that you put in there and it just sits statically. This is controlling humidity down to the percentage point. And that is set up here at the top on the controls. Controls are actually as simple as the controls on the smaller units. There's a lock and unlock button on there, and once you hold it for 3 seconds to unlock the damn thing, you can set the temperature, set the humidity, change your Celsius and Fahrenheit, put everything just exactly how you want it. And so sort of setting it up didn't take me much time at all. I literally poured a gallon of water in there, turned it on, set it to 65%, and said, boom, I'm done. But even still, there is so much more I like about this and a couple of drawbacks, and I want to make sure I take you through all of them. Let's take a look at these shelves. This has been one of my biggest areas of complaint about thermoelectric humidors is the shelves, because in the smaller desktop or under counter units that you get, they're typically just flat shelves, and you got to buy a Spanish cedar tray to put on the shelf so your cigars don't roll off. Here, the shelves are, I mean, as nice of an option as I could have ever hoped for. First of all, the shelves come on rolling, sliding rails. So like what you would get from a normal dresser or desk or something like that. Secondly, the shelves have got holes all the way around the side, slots on the bottom. I mean, even the inserts in these damn shelves have got little holes in them, so that air circulation in this is not going to be a problem at any point, unless you absolutely cram it filled with tons and tons of cigars. Should be pretty damn easy for the air to circulate. And again, that humidifier is constantly circulating air inside this thing, so it should be a good place for cigar storage at any level. Of course, the unit does have 7 different shelves inside of it, and it's got these like little inserts in here that you can move around. Let's move that forward. So that you can set up your collection just exactly how you want it, which is, again, when you're spending the kind of money that this one costs, you want every bit of customization options that you can get. And I do want to make sure that I mention this in this video. Normally, when I review these humidors, companies do just send them to me. I don't pay for them. This one, I did get a discount on it, but I also purchased it. This isn't something that KingChii just sent me to review. Then there's another huge thing that gets me about these humidors, and that is lighting. I'm always complaining about the interior, basically like a rooftop light in your, 4-door, Taurus or something like that, a Ford Taurus. You just got one light in the middle of the center of the roof, and that's supposed to light up the entire interior of the vehicle. And in a humidor, it works just as poorly. And certainly with this one, lights running up and down either side of the cabinet. These are not color changing lights. They are just white lights. And so if you're looking for a drawback, that would be one. But I got to say, they give the thing this stylish look that is like a pretty clear upgrade from the blue that I've got in my converted wine fridge over here. So I think that this, along with this design of the shelves, actually gives the thing a look of class that would cause it to fit into your place, even if your wife is super snobby about how you're going to keep all your furniture in the interior of your home. So interior lighting's great. And again, you can turn that on and off with the buttons near the top. A couple other things that I don't really think about a lot with the smaller humidors is about the door opening and closing. Obviously with this one, if you open the door all the way, it will stick open. But if the door isn't open all the way, here, I'll just try to pause it right there. If the door isn't open all the way, it will fully close itself, which is great. Like, that's something you want to have if you're going to have this many cigars in a humidor. Then the sound. It's incredibly quiet. It's as quiet as your refrigerator in your kitchen if it doesn't make very much noise. Like, I would imagine that my television behind me, if it was on at any volume, would be audible over the sound that this thing is making. It's a very, very quiet hum. When I read about it in the instructions, it was like, oh, it's going to be at or below 42 decibels, which is Quite frankly, 42 decibels sounds really high for what this thing puts out. It puts out, to me, basically no noise. It's a very, very quiet unit. Now, even though there's a ton that I really like about this, and I'm really glad that there's a lot that I like because I already paid for it. It's already in my house. I've already unboxed it, so I'm going to keep it. But a couple of drawbacks that you guys should know about up front. One of them is probably the biggest one, I think, for most people, and that is the price. This thing lists for like $3,000, okay? 425 liter unit. At the beginning of this video, I think I might have misquoted the number of liters that this is, but it's a 425 liter unit. $3,000 is just a lot of money for a humidor like this, especially when the smaller sort of under the counter ones or desktop ones go for only a couple of $100, and this one is like 10 times or more the price of those. At the same time, it does hold, they say, about 2,200 cigars. So with the average price of a cigar today, that's somewhere between $15,000 and $25,000 worth of cigars that it can hold. And you might think to yourself, like, $15,000 to $25,000 is more money than I will ever spend on cigars. And certainly that very well may be true for you. But at the same time, there are also people watching this who are turning down the volume on their phone because their wife is walking by. And they know full well they've already spent at least $20,000 on cigars. And so they're looking for something like this. I even got a couple of guys whose wives, one guy specifically whose wife came into the shop to ask me about reviewing this humidor. So if she's watching this, it is a great humidor for your husband. The other really big thing that for me was a bit of a drawback with this unit has to do with the smell. Okay, so with these thermoelectric ones, you're always concerned because they all come out of China. They crap them out in a factory there, and I think they do a reasonably good job, especially for what you pay for them. This is a very specialized unit. That's why it costs more than what you would pay for like a refrigerator for your kitchen, because it's got the thermoelectric motor, it's got wooden shelves. I mean, there's a reason that this is more than your average refrigerator. At the same time, that plastic smell was there just a little bit when I got this thing. And I had the exact same experience with the KingChii 8 liter that I reviewed previously on the channel. And I did notice that after I plugged this in and the fans kicked on and it started, circulating air and everything like that, that cedar smell is starting to come out a little bit more. And I assume that as these shelves continue to season, that will continue to come out more and more. Even now, it smells more like cedar than it does like any kind of plastic. That plastic smell is a really big concern for thermoelectric humidors. I'm particularly sensitive to it, and I have gotten rid of humidors because that smell has been so invasive. I feel like I could taste it in my cigars, and I really worked very hard to get rid of it, at least one humidor, and eventually just got rid of the whole thing. So that's one thing I'm always on the lookout for rather. This seems to have it a very tiny bit, but again, it's already sort of, there's more cedar smell than there is anything else in there. So a couple of drawbacks are the price, and certainly could have done without that plastic smell as a first impression for this thing up front. But other than that, I mean, this thing has got a lot of bells and whistles. Also, another drawback for me, and this is a relatively small thing, is the angling of the shelves on this unit. So after church today, we came home and had some friends come over for lunch. And the first thing that our friend said was like, ooh, that's not as nice as the other humidor behind it, because the other humidor has these angled shelves so that you can see the cigars on it. And that absolutely is true. This has got perfectly flat shelves. So if you're standing in front of it, you're not going to be able to see the cigars presented as well, like you would if you go into the traditional cigar shop. You go in, the shelves are angled on the wall, the box is like facing this way, and the cigars are looking at you, welcoming you in, like looking all sexy and stuff. You certainly won't get that with this unit, but I also think that the lighting sort of adds a nice, very clean, clear, sophisticated look. And so for me, the look works. Overall, I like the lighting and the looks of the shelves on this much better than I do the humidor behind it. And now at this point, I've basically got to wait another 22 hours and then figure out where the humidor behind me is going to go spend the rest of its life. I've already got some interested people who are thinking about doing a combination of cigars and wine in it. Sounds like a great idea. I will tell you this, though. The wine conversion humidor that's over my shoulder here has made me very skeptical when people want to give me a very nice humidor for free, or at least a very big humidor for free. I'm a huge proponent of giving humidors away. I think that if you get a desktop humidor, use it until you outgrow it and then give it to another cigar smoker. It's one of the best things that you can do. Like, there's nothing cooler than getting a humidor as a gift. But when it's a really, really big one and someone's like, here, I just don't want it anymore, maybe be a little bit skeptical about that, because dialing in the humidity on this other one, I'm sure you could do it, but it's definitely more time and attention than I'm willing to give. The KingChii here has now solved all of my problems and given me a place to put some very important, very, very special cigars, stuff that means a whole lot to me that I want to keep for a long time. I have become a big proponent that you can age cigars for a long time. And when I say a long time, I mean decades. As long as they're in a very, very consistently controlled environment. And that's what I was looking to accomplish with this humidor. And that's exactly what I feel like I got. So drop a comment down below. What humidor do you use? What humidor do you trust? I would love to hear more from you about that. Do you have a KingChii one or any experience with KingChii or any of the other products that they make? I would love to hear from you guys there. And of course, check this video out on the community on Cigars Daily Plus. Thank you all so much for watching. This is Tim signing off for Cigars Daily, and I will see you in the comments.